It's time for Crossfire, brought to you by ASAP General Stores and Lucille's Roadhouse. Catch Crossfire on demand. Follow the Western Oklahoma Wake Up Show podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, or Right.media.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe it's already Friday, May Day, 10 minutes after 7 o'clock today. Big thanks to Lucille's Roadhouse and ASAP Energy for sponsoring Crossfire, our lively debate, and joining us from the left, Senate Minority Leader Julia Kirt. Good morning, Leader.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us and filling in on the right for State Representative Anthony Moore. We have our friend, Representative Nick Archer. Good morning.
Good morning, Todd. Good morning, Julia. Thanks for having me.
Well, appreciate you both doing this. First of all, it is May Day, so I'm assuming, because I heard the top story on Fox News, that they're encouraging people not to work, not to go to school, or not to buy anything today. So I'm sure both of you are just refusing to do anything for May Day, right?
I just get all my news from Fox, so they tell me what to do, and I do it.
Oh, my goodness. Fridays are my days to work the most, because we're in the Capitol right now, Monday through Thursday. So I got a lot of cows to feed. I got a lot of fence to fix and stuff to get done today. So I don't know that that's going to work for me, Todd.
Okay, well, no dice on the May Day. I'm here. I told everybody my wife and kid are experiencing May Day, but that's just because they let out school today. So I don't think that has anything to do with May Day. Well, before we get into the goings-on at the Capitol, I'm sure both of you heard the sad news about a candidate for Senate here in Western Oklahoma who passed away unexpectedly, Barry Christian. Nick, that's kind of out in your neck of the woods, that Senate seat. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I was born and raised in Sayre, and so lived most of my life in Beckham County. And so, it's a tragedy. It really is. I certainly don't want to speculate on anything that hasn't been confirmed officially, but, it does hit close to home. And these are my people. And so my prayers are with the Christian family, with the law enforcement doing the investigation, and everyone out here who's just kind of looking for answers.
Senator Kirt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. My heart goes out to his family, and I really hope they get some answers, and just hate to hear about that kind of tragedy at the end of life. And, all while he was trying to step up and serve the state. So prayers for his family.
Yeah, absolutely. Prayers for the Christian family. Just a tragic loss here in our state. Well, let's talk about what's been going on at the Capitol. I think I had kind of a plan of what we were going to talk about today, but kind of unexpectedly, a bill passed through the Senate yesterday, which was kind of a leftover that passed through the House last year, and it was a more permanent ban on the abortion pill. And Senator Kirt, maybe you can take this through it. From what I read in the story this morning, that the reason it was brought up at the last minute because they were afraid Senator Dusty Devers was going to try to amend it or introduce a stronger worded bill. What's your understanding on that?
Yeah, that's what the pro tem said. I sure don't think it's okay to let one extremist faction run what bills we're hearing. And so it was disappointing to us because the bill showed up without any preparation time. Literally, we were told as the bill went on the board. And so that's pretty out of character for the Senate. We usually have an agenda that's published so that people know what's coming up. And it really is out of course to just throw something on the board, especially that important around medical care, health care. And to have it come up like that was really disappointing. The public didn't have any chance to weigh in, and certainly we didn't have any time to prepare.
Representative Archer, now this bill passed the House last year, right? But the Senate didn't take it up. Were you actually surprised they did that?
Yeah, I was. Well, I guess I can't say I was surprised, Todd. the Senate's going to Senate, and I'm sure that Senator Curt would say the House is going to House. The reality is you never really know what the other chamber is going to do or what's going to happen. I do think that the state of Oklahoma, we have, if not some of the strongest pro-life laws in the nation. I think when we're looking at the trafficking of these type of pills, we have to preserve legitimate medical care. We have to ensure that individuals who have been prescribed these things still have access to them. But if we're talking about trafficking and or illegal distribution, I think that those are things we have to address as a legislature, and it's not surprising that it passed the House a couple of different times over the last few years and has now made it through the Senate.
Now, do you expect any challenges going to the Oklahoma Supreme Court? Because there have been a few pieces of legislation relating to similar items like this that the Supreme Court overturned, Representative Archer.
I don't know. I don't know, Todd. It gets tricky. Sometimes even some of the bills I've introduced myself, later somebody comes and says this may not be constitutional. And in a lot of instances, it seems like common sense, especially in those ones of mine I'm referring to. But, I don't think that bill erases legitimate medical treatment. I think that it still carves out miscarriage, ectopic stuff, and those kinds of things. And so the way it was presented to us is that it is not likely to be overturned.
Leader Curt, does it only apply to people mail ordering them? What are your thoughts?
Well, the huge problem with this bill is it's very vague, and it's tackling a legal and safe medication, and absolutely would require private information about women and their health care to be released before there could be any charges. The author continued to act like someone could magically be charged with this crime without, revealing private information about women and investigating women's miscarriages. Basically it's going to make every miscarriage a presumed crime. And so I have some real problems with putting politics over people like this. This is clearly a campaign piece. The author had no plan for enforcing the measure. Not just tells me it was a talking piece. We then got to hear a bunch of debates that were set up for TV, and so I was really disappointed that something like this was brought forward at this point.
We're in the crossfire today with State Senator Julia Curt and State Representative Nick Archer. One of the things we've talked about over the last few weeks is, the topic of Medicaid expansion and trying to put that in state statute, taking it out of the Constitution. Has to take a vote of the people, but then there has been a debate with different factions that normally wouldn't agree getting together, and it looks like it is now going to be on the November ballot instead of the August ballot. So, Senator Curt, is that somewhat of a victory for the Democrats?
Well, it's a Democrat it's not for the Democrats. It is for the people of Oklahoma. Voters voted this in. And I think for them to try to shoehorn it into August and put it on a low turnout ballot was real intentional. And so for it to show up in a general election when a lot more people can weigh in, I think that makes a lot more sense. It's about undermining voters' will than it should be in front of a whole lot of voters.
Representative Archer, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I see it both ways. I do think that voter fatigue is a very real thing. I know being in an open Senate seat right now, knowing that the other half of our district is also in an open Senate seat, knowing all of the mail pieces and those kinds of things, knowing how many things are potentially proposed for some of those ballots. I do see merit to August, but I also do fully understand and see the argument Senator Curt's making that you will likely have a higher turnout in November. And so I just hope that if it is, is successful or on a November ballot, that those individuals, when they go to their polling place, they make the time to read through all of those things. Some of those state questions can be rather lengthy. And again, I do have some concerns that, once you actually get in there and you're standing in your little cardboard box, sometimes individuals don't always take the time to read through those when, you end up with pages of measures to potentially vote on.
I'm just hoping somebody sends out some mailers in support or opposition to all the state questions, because I love getting all those mailers in my box. Right. One other note on Medicaid, Attorney General Gentner Drummond is requesting the auditor's office to look at the entities that are kind of overseeing the Medicaid spending in our state. Representative Archer, thoughts on that? Is there some funny business going on, or is this political maneuvering since he's running for governor?
I think looking into it, there's probably a warranted reason to look into it. I certainly would never accuse a candidate running for office for using their seat solely for some sort of advantage or something of that nature. So I would have to assume that they have information which could potentially lead to, as you said, Todd, some of that funny business. And so I don't think looking into anything is a bad thing, and I think transparency is key. And so I just hope and would want that process to be transparent, and anything that is comes to fruition from that, let's keep that in the public's eye. If we're going to make a press release soon, we're looking into this stuff. Let's continue those updates to the public so that everybody knows what's going on.
Senator Kurt, is the warrant or the audit warranted?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I haven't seen what he was looking at. I do think the denial rate concern is important. I'm not sure that the state auditor is the one to analyze that, because that's very much about medical decisions and outcomes. I mean, these are concerns certainly we raised. I know my Democratic caucus raised extensively when they were looking at giving Medicaid to corporations to run. I mean, we are putting it in the hands of for-profit businesses. Now, do I think there's been some positive? Yeah, I've definitely heard some positives, certainly around babies' health and maternal health. But there's no question we need to keep track and analyze how it's coming. But I'm worried that an audit takes multiple years, and if this is really an issue of outcomes and denying needed medical care, then we need to figure out a faster way to have a check and balance. I do need to be like an old timer here and say I want everyone to remember that the legislature gave the governor hire and fire power of the healthcare authority director. And there's no longer a board of Oklahomans sitting there, helping make these decisions. So it's pretty much one person making a lot of those internal decisions about how they work with Medicaid, how they work with those managed care organizations. And I'm worried about that. There's not transparency to those ongoing contracts and reports. And really, it's just a couple of people handpicked by the governor who are making all those decisions.
We're in the crossfire today with State Senator Julia Kurt and State Representative Nick Archer. Back with more right after this.
Buckle up, Oklahoma. The ride of a lifetime starts now. It's ASAP Energy's Route 66 Centennial Celebration giveaway, and you can win a custom 1966 Chevelle. That's right, over 100,000 reasons to visit your favorite local stops like any ASAP General Store, Lucille's Restaurants, and Rick's Boots and Outfitters. Now through July, just swipe your kickback card every time you shop for your chance to win. Every swipe is a chance to walk away with your very own custom 1966 Chevelle. So start swiping so you can celebrate 100 years of the Mother Road in style.
Pop the top on Route 66 at Clinton Liquor Store. The Centennial Cruise will be at Clinton Liquor Store the entire month of May at 1018 South 10th in Clinton. This is your opportunity to get your name drawn at the end of the month. You could have that key that could be driving away in December in that Route 66 wrapped Suburban. Large selection of your favorite brands of wine, spirits, and beer, and take a pick of a great selection of cigars, too. No matter the celebration, they have what you should be sipping. 1018 South 10th Street in Clinton. the Centennial Cruise at a Clinton Liquor Store. Then join us on Friday, May 29th from 2 to 6. We'll draw our next lucky key-holding winner that could start that Suburban in December. Off the top on Route 66 at Clinton Liquor Store. It's the Centennial Cruise with Clinton Liquor Store and Wright Media.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Turn back the pages of history. See the Route 66 Porterhouse Diner where Elvis ate a hamburger. Play school in a one-room schoolhouse. Take photos of historic classic cars and trucks, all on display at the Heartland of America Museum in Weatherford, with hundreds of exciting exhibits giving you an up-close look at the life in Weatherford and western Oklahoma, all along Route 66.
Get your kicks on Route 66.
Visit the Heartland of America Museum today, located on South Frontage Road just off the East Main Weatherford exit between Airport Road.
Remember Saturday mornings in the car? Mom with the map, kids singing in the back? That feeling is still alive at McDonald's. Fresh coffee for the grown-ups, smiles for everyone, and all your favorites too. Golden French fries, nuggets, Big Macs, quarter pounders, and delicious chicken sandwiches. The Phillips family McDonald's in Weatherford, Clinton, and Elk City makes the moments simple and fun. So bring the crew, stop inside, and cruise through the drive-thru today.
Your Phillips family McDonald's in Weatherford, Clinton, and Elk City.
Welcome back to the Western Oklahoma Wake Up Show. We are in the crossfire today, brought to you by Lucille's Roadhouse and ASAP General Stores. In the crossfire, representing the Democratic Party is Senate Minority Leader Julia Kurt, and representing the Republican side, we have State Representative Nick Archer. So just kind of a few minutes left. One of the things that you guys did accomplish this year was giving a $2,000 per year pay raise to teachers, and everybody I've talked to has been really excited about that, educators that I know. But of course, now we're seeing news stories come out today that a few superintendents are complaining about it, saying that they're going to have to cover some of the costs. Can't everybody just be happy with a pay raise for the teachers, Senator Kurt?
Well, I mean, if we didn't fund the whole thing, then that's on us. I mean, we didn't put any additional money really in the formula, which is the general funds that the local districts get to decide how it gets used. So those are the monies that they would use if they were given a staff raise, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, if we didn't give them enough, they know their numbers a lot better than us. We made a whole lot of new mandates. We told them, okay, we're going to give you a raise, but we expect you to work 7 more days a year. And we added some other mandates around literacy practices and reporting. And so, I doubt that they're blowing smoke. I imagine it's real. And I wouldn't be surprised, because we're not always known to think through the consequences of the way we do things. And we don't put things out in the public early enough to really get that feedback and hear from people, because the compromises end up getting rushed through. So I'm not going to fault them.
Representative Archer, didn't we put $190 million directly into the budget for those teacher pay raises? Am I wrong?
I do. I'm not sure that it was 190 directly related to pay raises, Todd, but to the broader question, yes, we did increase school funding again to the tune of roughly $230 million. I do know a big portion of that is for teacher pay raises. But I think one thing that needs to be stated that probably Senator Kurt would like for me to say is the legislature does not set teacher pay. I think that's important, that's one thing that sometimes gets misunderstood. We set the minimum. And so when we say we have increased teacher pay by $2,000. We, as a legislature, have increased the minimum pay scale by $2,000. And so I think where some of those concerns come from is not all districts pay the minimum. And I think that is potentially where some of those concerns come from. But I know today, just like last year and the year before, teachers in the state of Oklahoma will have more money, more funding than they have ever had. I certainly believe that we are on a great path in changing the trajectory of education in our state. But, I tend to be of the mindset that money isn't always the answer. And so I don't know that just increasing pay is what gets us out of the bottom 5 in education rankings. And so I'm also excited to see, some of the Strong Readers Act and the other things that we have moved this year also passing.
One other education note, obviously in the Senate, you folks said no to giving the government appointment power for the state superintendent, so voters will still choose the superintendent of public instruction. Good thing or a bad thing, Senator Kurt?
Yeah, I think this is good. I mean, nationwide, the data doesn't show any difference in outcomes for kids, whether that position's elected or not, but we have to have that check and balance. And we have not forgotten that Governor Stitt is actually the one who appointed Ryan Walters to be Secretary of Education. So we know that those appointments give, a lot of latitude for political appointments. And so I think it's a good thing.
Representative Archer, but didn't voters vote Walters in as state superintendent?
Yeah, I mean, I think to that point, I would also say Governor Stitt also removed Ryan Walters from that position. And so I see merits both ways. I think back to what we kind of talked about in the first segment. We have a lot of elected positions. We have a lot of things in the state of Oklahoma that we expect our people to vote on. I think when you look at the broader number of things, I think that's why some of the reasons we see low voter turnouts and those kinds of things is because there's just an overwhelming amount of things that people end up with on any given year.
Tell me something good.
Oh, when you hear Rufus and Shaka Khan, you know what time it is. I have to turn off the negativity, and we talk about positivity. And Representative Archer, you are our special guest today, so tell me something good today.
Yeah, so as chairman of Energy, I have made a lot of efforts to create the Advanced Nuclear Office in the state of Oklahoma. When we think about energy, we've seen a lot of things happen, and it's great. The good news, the something good, is through the year we have applied for federal DOE money into innovation campuses. And on Tuesday of this week, the state of Oklahoma was shortlisted in that federal initiative. And so we are now in a very small group of states who are all competing for about $2 billion of federal funding. And so anytime our state has an opportunity to capture some of that, that is good, in my opinion.
That's super, super cool. Senator Kurt, you're something good.
Nice. That's great. Well, I'm going to reach across the aisle for my something good because yesterday Senator Yak gave his farewell speech, and it was a very touching time. Of course, his speech itself was incredibly diplomatic and really calling us to our better selves, and such a gracious man, like acknowledging every staff member. But then the speeches about him were wonderful, and I hope his home district knows how much he's respected in that building and how much people believe that his demeanor, his humbleness and consistency helped elevate the state capitol. So he's going to be horribly missed. So I just want to say Senator Darcy Yak is my something good.
We love Darcy. Did Senator Devers weep a little bit? I'm just kidding.
I did not see that. I didn't catch that.
Just kidding. Okay. Well, my something good is I realized yesterday I had not checked my P.O. box for about 3 days. and I expected it to be jam-packed. But my something good is I had only one political mailer in my P.O. box. I'm assuming that's going to change, but that's a victory in my book. Only one mailer.
You don't like when they try to mail things to you?
They're coming this way, Tom.
I know. Thank you, Font, and whoever that other guy is that has the mailing business. And
Parker.
Yeah, but there you go. All right. Hey, thank you both so much for being a part of the program. Always enjoy our lively conversations. Senator Kurt, Representative Archer, have a wonderful, wonderful day.
You too.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Crossfire on KCLI. Also available on the News Talk KCLI app or archived on the Western Oklahoma Wake Up Show podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, or Right.media. Crossfire is a courtesy of ASAP General Stores and Lucille's Roadhouse.